Right, I said on the Facebook page that I was going to write about the last few days because I kind of had a bit of a stressful few days, but I thought I'd chuck this on and talk about it via the camera instead. Mainly because for some of it it's a bit complicated or whatever, so I thought it was easier just to chuck the camera on rather than write like 1,500 words. Basically, if you didn't notice or whatever, on Wednesday, Wales Online published the letter that I wrote to Isabelle. I knew about it, don't get me wrong. I've got a contact in with Wales Online, and they were the ones who originally run my postnatal depression story back in October. I had quite a lot of positive feedback about the letter, so I thought, I'll contact them and see if they want to run it. And I mainly wanted to do that because I had a few people either comment on the blog or message me saying because they read this letter, they now want to tell their children about their postnatal depression and be more open with them. So it was kind of nice. So I thought, well, if a few people have got something good from it, like quite a few, and the blog's only small, then what happens if Wales Online do it? A lot more people are going to see it. So I thought, yeah, screw it, let's try and put it out there. And yeah, they run it. But yeah, obviously that come out then, they put it on the Facebook, and inevitably you end up reading the comments. And yeah, a lot of them are negative, you know what I mean? It's going to be. Because we were a bit blindsided by Wales Online's headline. They went with father with postnatal depression writes heartbreaking letter to baby daughter, fair enough, about why he hated her. Fair enough, hate is in the letter. But yeah, still didn't. It's, Rachel hates the term. She hates it when they say hates daughter. But it's life. That's what it is. But people see that and they jump to the headline of dad hates daughter or a dick. Everything else they want to throw at her. It is rude to it. This is why it's very hard to do videos. And there goes the food. Oh. But yeah, this ain't a video about me just complaining about negative comments, alright? Because I've been here before with them, alright? I know what the internet's like. I know you get negativity everywhere. It's not just about that. There's a lot more to this than just that. It didn't help that for the first time I actually engaged with people on it. So yeah, I wanted to defend myself a little bit. To me, I think it's a good idea to write her this letter. Obviously, I don't think people quite understand the story because they don't understand that this story is already out there in quite a lot of places. On YouTube, it's on the blog, everywhere, okay? So I have to tell her. Alright, she's gonna discover it. So I have to write this letter or I have to tell her. So I don't think they quite grasp that, which is fair enough, alright? They're not going to read into it too much, they're just going to comment. But yeah, this ain't just about the negative comments, alright? They kind of got a snowball going, so to speak. I think all they did was plant a little bit of a seed of doubt in my head, and then the next day on Thursday, I was left with Isabelle for 2 hours, which fair enough, easy, and I'm fine with it. Obviously I get left with her for 13 hours. I got her right now. She's doing that. Perfectly fine with it. But for whatever reason, she took a couple of bumps to the head. Little falls, she's a bloody really active, almost 12-month-old. And then you're almost a year. You're almost one. Even she's surprised. Not as surprised as us. But yeah, it's going to happen, you know what I mean? But for some reason, because all I've heard the last day then is you're a bad dad, attention-seeking, self-centered, doesn't care about his daughter, all that sort of stuff. It's almost like when you've got this vague concept in your head of something, and then something happens that promotes that, it kind of helps reinforce it, if you get what I mean. And that's what that did. It's like she's bumping her head, and I was like, Christ, I can't even do this right. I will apologise because these videos are going to be a little bit disjointed, and I have to try and think about what I'm saying there because I still got to look after her. And she's currently emptying all the drawers. Good girl. So yeah, Thursday then I didn't feel the best because I was kind of a little bit like, oh, see, I can't even look after her properly. She had a little mark on her head from where she fell once, then she banged the gate on her head, so we're trying to open that. So Rachel come home, she got a bit by there, a little dot, she got a mark by there, and it's like, alright, only left me 2 hours and look what I did. So, obviously I got a little bit of doubt about myself then. But then the real bit come in on Friday. Basically, for those of you who don't know, which is probably going to be quite a lot of you, when Isabelle was born, that was my first case of depression, right? That was basically a continuation of it, or re-emergence of it. Basically, I've had it since I was about 17. Long story about the depression itself. I'll get into it a little bit deeper later on because it's going to be relevant in a bit. But basically, around March 2016 was when I was really bad, alright? And it was the day before I went on a course with Royal Mail, doing my workplace coach training, right? And I was awful that day. Rachel was in work all day, I was stuck in the house all day. I remember saying to her, if I had a button at the time where I could just go, right, everything's done, I'm done, I would have hit it. I mean, you could say that thinking is a little bit drastic, but that's how I felt at the time. You know, I had months and months of that sort of stuff, man. That was just the worst night of it. And then it was also the last night where I just went, that's it, I'm going on meds. I ain't having this anymore, because this is going worse. And it's just going to keep getting worse until I sort it out. So that's when I went on meds, which I was on for about 6 months. So, not that I'm going to carry on with that. You know what I mean? I still can't watch Faulty Towers, because I chucked it on Netflix and started watching that. As soon as I hear that start up, I hate it. So yeah, then Friday I had a course with Royal Mail to do a workplace coach thing. So they had a little bit of that coming back in the back of my head. I don't like going to new places on my own as much, and I'm better now. My anxiety used to be a hell of a lot worse than what it is now. But it kind of brought back a bit of that. Which on its own, with nothing else going on, I would have dealt with fine. But when I've got the doubt about being a dad, the online abuse, then this depression thing coming back, and this course, and reminding myself of the thoughts I had when I did a course before, them two kind of merged together. And then after the course was done, I was reversing. In my blind spot was a motorbike parked in the bay behind me. I didn't see it, so I reversed back, bang, straight into it. No one was on there, the bike tipped over, you had the crunch noise and all that. But, again, that brought back another memory, that then the best one is probably one of the worst ones I've got. And that is when my friend jumped in front of a car on a night out. So, which is completely different, you know what I mean? I just reversed into a motorbike. It's not the same. But it's just the fact it's a crash, it's a hit with a car, and for some reason that come flooding back as well. You know, on top of doing the workplace coach thing and bringing that depression back, being considered a bad dad with Isabelle. Yeah, it was just everything all together. If it was one of them things, if I just reversed into a bike any other time, would I have had that much of a big deal about it? No, I might have been a bit upset by it, because it'd be bringing back all them memories, which I don't think I've talked about on the blog yet, how my depression kick-started. It's basically from that. You know, I blame myself for years over it, you know what I mean? And obviously I still do a little bit now, which I know I shouldn't, but he died because I wanted to walk home. End the story, you know what I mean? It's a lot deeper than that, and I don't really want to massively go into it. I'm mostly fine with it now. It's just the fact that I don't deal with serious things very well. And actually, whenever anything serious goes down like that, I go back to that place. I go back to that night when he got hit by the car. When Isabelle was born and we got rushed down the theatre. And I was pressing the emergency buzzer. And I was sat there with all the doctors and everyone around us. I got taken back there. That's where I went in my head, back to him getting hit by that car. Thinking the worst that's going to happen, you know what I mean? That probably affected it. That didn't help the postnatal depression. The fact that just as she was being born, I was taken back to the worst moment of my life. So, well, that probably didn't help, did it? And that's part of it, you know what I mean? You know, because I blame myself for what happened with him. It all got brought back just as Isabelle was being born. And I just kept feeling reminded that I didn't deserve it. I didn't deserve to have this. Do you know what I mean? I didn't feel like I deserved to have the family that I had. You know, how can I have a family of my own when I'm partly responsible for ruining someone else's? That was in my mindset. Do you know what I mean? And yeah. So when serious things happen, I get brought back to there. You know I can't change anything, but I'd love to go back and see what it would be like if Rachel didn't have the cord prolapse. And I wasn't reminded of that. It was just the thing of having the best moment of your life completely mixed in with the worst at the exact same time. So I wonder if she didn't have the cord prolapse, whether all of this would have been fine. You know, I think when I say back in them early days that I hated Isabelle, I think it was just a case of I hated myself. Or I just hated the situation that I managed to get myself into. I hated the fact that I had everything that I ever wanted, and like I said, someone else have got everything taken away. You know, not that I could change anything. It is what it is. Maybe I still would have had the postnatal depression. You know what I mean? Maybe that cord prolapse just exacerbated everything and just kick-started it, but, you know, I'm here with it now, aren't I? And I want to explain all of this to Isabelle in a bloody letter. I got no chance, have I? Let's be honest. And when I hit that motorbike, it was just a case of, it's just all come flooding back, you know what I mean? Compounded with everything else. On that day, that Friday, just felt awful. And then I come home and then I had to rush home and go to the dentist and have a fill-in. And then coming out of the dentist, I went in Tesco's, and all I wanted to do was pick up sweets, chocolate, anything with sugar in. And I did pick up some of it, and I sat in the car and ate some sweets, and I was just sat there going, I'm comfort eating. I checked myself. I went, I'm comfort eating right now. I don't want this. There's a part of me that feels, shit, I just want to eat this sugar, because this is what I used to do before. I used to eat loads of it. This is why I don't like eating a lot of sugar now, partly. It makes me feel terrible. But I get a comfort thing out of it. And I just sat there going, what am I doing? I'm comfort eating. I never comfort eat. I haven't done it in ages. I'm glad that I had the fill-in. So luckily, I could come home and talk to Rachel about it. I mean, I didn't go super into detail with it all. I said to her about the motorbike reminding me of my friend dying, and then she kind of had the same attitude as me to it. She was like, I see what you mean, but it's silly, isn't it? But yeah, I kind of did the right thing as it was going along, you know what I mean? I checked myself. I knew where it was going wrong. I talked to Rachel about it. I do this. This helps. Writing will help. You know what I mean? I'm not where I was a few years ago. A few years ago, I would have been awful by the end of it. Now I'm in a much better place because I've just learned a lot more coping mechanisms. You know what I mean? So yeah, I got no idea if you got anything out of this. I think this was just for me. This was cathartic in some way. I think even by openly talking about this like that, I think I discovered some stuff myself. So yeah, cheers for watching this. If you watched all of it, I know it's a bit long. I didn't mean for it to be this long. I kind of just added stuff as it's come up. It's a bit disjointed. Just a bit like parenting in general. So cheers for watching.